in Oklahoma. And let me turn this around. No sunrise today, or not going to be a good one. We finally got a thunderstorm last night, so that kind of broke the 100-degree stretch here. So I thought, you know what? I got up early, got my coffee ready, and I figured, hey, I'll just come out real quick and do a short garden live. Things are starting to green up again, so I'm just going to turn this real quick, show you a quick shot of the garden. You can see where I'm set up right there. But garden's looking really good. I'm just going to remove the phone here, and let's go for a quick walk. I've tied off the asparagus to keep them this way because they kept pushing into the pepper plants. There's the pumpkins. I got some more stakes out to be staking the runners. Here is the other pepper plants. Or I'm sorry, the other pumpkin plants. Pumpkin plants take up a lot of space, so be aware of that if you do grow pumpkins. Got a big bumblebee over there. I can hear other bees. They're in there doing their job, pollinating. I'm not going to walk in the garden because we did get some heavy thunderstorms. So it's going to be a little mosh pitty in there. But pumpkin plants are doing well. I'm going to come in here today since it's going to be cooler, and I'll get all my pallets reset. You can see a nice pumpkin over there, and there's 2 or 3 others in that area. We'll get there in a minute. There's my next cucumber plants. And there. They're doing really, really well. Hopefully later today, I'll plant some there and there. Apple trees are booming. You know, this winter when I come out and I prune these, you know, those get pruned off. They're not there. We don't want those there. And then I'll come out and I'll prune a bunch of that. And then I'll prune that one over there. But the green bean, bush beans I got washed around by the thunderstorm are doing well. I gotta get in here and weed today. It's gonna be cooler today, so that's good. Radishes are looking really good. I just did some compost there yesterday. Now I'm gonna build my mound today because I have cantaloupe seeds to grow. So we're gonna get busy on that. And you can kind of make out the row of, those are the pole beans for the summer. Here are the next set growing. They're doing really well. They're taking off really, really well. The thunderstorm last night really helped. And the thunderstorm blew around my cardboard and weed paper. I've wet it down. It's been wet down. I'm letting it break down. That's going to get composted in. Oh, let's go take a peek. Let's go take a peek. So this pumpkin here is working on changing color. This one is doing very well with the color. Look at that. It's a little misshapen. It's flat on that one side, but we can roll it a little bit. It's almost ready. These are, of course, have sugar pumpkins planted. Hopefully we'll see those sprout here pretty soon. And then we got the wee little baby pumpkin there. And this one here is doing really well. And the one that hooked to the fence, look at how big this one's getting. Look at how big that is. That hooked up to the fence, and that is gonna be a huge pumpkin. I mean, that's just crazy. So I'll get in here and weed that later. Give that some more sun. And then here is the 3 amigos right there. Look at those. Those are some nice pumpkins right there. That's I call that one the great pumpkin. That's my biggest pumpkin so far. And she's a trailing. She's worked her way over here. So from here, that goes all the way up there first and then hooks around in there. So this one's well over long. These are running towards each other. So I'll have to get back in with more stakes today and get those moved this way a little bit. Excuse me. But these plants are doing really well. Look how thick they are. Now looking from this direction here, to give everybody a better bird's eye view, is trellis, trellis. There will be one more trellis right here. And then off of these trellises, probably coming this way and that way, will be 4-foot fencing for more vertical growing. And then once this is gone, and the pepper plants are out, I will be taking fencing from that white post, from that post where my asparagus are, because this is all asparagus in here. I'll be running a fence all the way across to there. And then this will all be asparagus next year. And then this here, all the way down this run, that'll be a 4-foot fence. And then this would all, on this fence would all be cucumbers or pole beans or something. But yeah. And of course, by those stakes right there, those are sugar pumpkins. In June's planter box are more sugar pumpkins. And then between those two right there are 2 more sugar pumpkins. And then where we just walked over there is going to be my cantaloupes today. And then I have potatoes inside that are going to come down through here in a row for the fall. And are being sprouted now inside. So with that, I'm just going to come over here. Let's get you turned around. Boom. Ba-doom. Let me see if I can get situated here. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully we can get the garden. Oh yeah. Look at that. Okay, so. Like I said, this is not going to be a long one. I just kind of wanted to do a current live update on the garden. And it's been so hot out lately that it's not letting the phone out in the sun, you know, we're talking it's been 100 degrees and you get in that direct sunlight. I had to leave the garden off and on the other day because the dirt was so hot that you couldn't even, I had my, I could have put different shoes on, but I had my swim shoes on. And it was really brutal as far as trying to stand on that dirt. It would get so hot. It was kind of like being at the beach on a really hot day where walking on the sand is hot. But other than that, it's a very quiet, calm, peaceful morning. We had the rain last night. We needed that thunderstorm. Um, but you can see how everything behind me is still going strong, still green. Everything is still greening up. I have more stuff coming in that's going to be growing in the next few weeks. So the whole center of that garden will start to fill in again. And that is one thing that's kind of cool about living in the Oklahoma, Texas climate is if you are fortunate enough to have an extended growing season, you can really take advantage of growing a lot of vegetables. You just got to select, obviously, vegetables that do well in the heat and the humidity and really the brutality of the heat down here. You know, if you're not used to it, you know, the zone is much different than, you know, a northeast zone where you get maybe one to two plantings if you play your cards right, depending on what you grow. If you grow something that has a short lifespan, a quick harvest, you can typically get a couple. By now, everybody's seen my pumpkin pie video. I have more puree, so I wanted to announce that I'll be doing another, I'm probably going to do hopefully next week, a pumpkin bisque, or just it's a creamy pumpkin soup. And then I would also like to do either a pumpkin cheesecake or a pumpkin bread. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have enough for all of them because you can see the pumpkins behind me. I'm going to have 3 or 4 more. And I'm averaging probably 3 cups of puree with each pumpkin. So that gives me, right now with the ones that are coming ready for harvest, that's going to give me 12 cups of puree. So pumpkin pie uses 2 cups. So that would give me 6 pumpkin pies or a few breads or something. But I'm hoping I get by the fall, if I can get another 20, 25 pumpkins, then that will put me 75. All total, it would give me about 100 cups of puree. So that would be really cool, all totaled. But I hope to have maybe 50 cups in the freezer of pumpkin puree. Then that will carry me pumpkin pies, pumpkin breads through the winter. I'll be able to make cheesecakes, whatever I want to make through the winter. I really want to get going on the pumpkin bisque. That makes a great base because you can do a lot of things, kind of like tomato soup. So I could actually make a big pot of pumpkin bisque, and then for the next couple days you can make cheese quesadillas to dip in it. You can make grilled cheese sandwiches to dip in the pumpkin bisque. So many different things. You could put turkey. You could take a deli turkey over some toast and do a kind of a Thanksgiving open-faced sandwich where the pumpkin bisque is kind of like a gravy. I mean, there is a lot of things you can do with pumpkin puree, which now that I grow pumpkins, you know, I never really paid much attention to it. But when I realized how easy it was to make the puree, it's not hard at all. And also cantaloupes, hopefully they will do well this fall. And then I'll plant some more of those in the spring. And then we will continue to update the garden. Like I said, green beans, I have more potatoes ready to go. I'll be planting more radishes and some beets here pretty soon once it cools down a little bit. I think once we get into September, if we can get a stretch where it's, you know, in the 80s, 90s, or low 90s, I can throw in some more beets because I'd like to get some beets in the fridge. And then I wouldn't mind getting some, I want to get some canning done because I would like to have some pickled beets. I'd like to have some, I'm going to try canning some of the puree and see which one I like better. Um, so we'll see about that. And then just getting prepared for next year. I can start buying more mason jars throughout the winter, getting prepped for next year, because as soon as I start having stuff popping in March and April and May, I'll grow multiple growings of green beans, get them canned. So everything's going really well. I hope everybody's having a really good weekend. Um, Supposed to only be in the high 80s, mid to high 80s today and tomorrow, which is great because it's been 100, and finally it broke yesterday, and that was really cool. And stay tuned for, I have a video coming out on composting, I think tomorrow maybe, and then I'll do a couple cooking lives next week. I'm just going to try to figure out, I got to plan out, I got to go up to the store today, and I want to plan out my list, so I make sure I have all of my, I think I got all the ingredients here now, but I might need a couple things. I might need to get I'm not going to make the shell this time for the cheesecake. I'll make a pumpkin cheesecake with, yeah, I probably will. I'll probably make the cheesecake will be a walnut shell. I'll do the chopped walnut shell instead of the shell with the graham crackers. So I might just do a cheesecake next. Cheesecakes are pretty easy. You just got to make sure you know when to pull them out and get them on the cooling rack so they set up. But pumpkin cheesecake is delicious. So maybe I'll do that next week in a live. I'm also trying to do stuff where the bisque, because you cook something live, like a pumpkin pie, you have to let it set for a few hours after. And I like to be able to try it on camera while I cook it. And you can't do that with, you can do it with pumpkin bread if you let it cool a little bit, you can taste it. But pies, you have to let them set or they'll, fall apart on you. Cheesecake, you have to let it set up. You don't just cut into it right as soon as you take it out, so on and so forth. So I want to get into more stuff like casseroles and things. I'm gonna do our mac and cheese recipe. I want to do. We'll do that, and then that's something you can eat right away, because I want people to be able to see the taste test and everything. But it is an absolutely beautiful morning. It's overcast. The sun is coming up over there, but there's so much the fog and clouds. It's not allowing it hasn't burned through yet, which means that's good because the heat won't build yet. So I'm hoping for the mid 80s today, and got a lot of stuff to do around the house outside. Hopefully you'll go back and you'll see my planter box. I did a short on my planter box I made out of pallet wood. I have reclaimed pallet wood. I have 50, 60 pallets here at the house. And you can see I use them for putting, the pumpkins on them so they don't lay in the mud and the dirt. I also take them apart and make furniture. I have a nice stand inside. You can see when I go live in the one room in there, you can see that one little table. I made that out of reclaimed pallet wood and sealed it with some clear coat. That's one of my favorite tables. It's a little side table. But I'm making little 12 inch by 12 inch planter boxes. And then what happens is next year, behind my one wood shop here, I'll put in a 3-foot tall raised bed garden. That's going to be basically a 2-by-2 box, 2-foot by 2-foot box. And then all 4 of my herbal boxes that I can use inside growing. I'll have parsley, chives, cilantro, and sweet basil. I'll have one of those in each planted. But then in the spring, you know, when there's a nice day and it's a nice sunny morning, I'll have handles on those boxes inside. I can carry them right out, put them in the box out here, and give them some water out here. And then during the nice days, they'll be out in the sun early morning for the first 2 or 3 hours till the sun gets over that way. And then they'll be behind the shop, so the sun won't be on them anymore. So they'll get their 2 or 3 hours of full-on sunlight, and then it'll go back around the side of the building, and then they'll be set for the day. Then if it's going to storm, we're going to get any rainstorms, all I got to do is pick them up, take them back inside, set them on the table in there so they don't get wrecked by a thunderstorm or high winds or anything. But that is my goal here. I want to have a nice inside that I can easily move outside herbal garden, because that's one thing I've never had. I love herbs and spices. I love basil in my spaghetti sauce. I love as a garnish. I love parsley. I really like cilantro and stuff. And I have grown cilantro in the past, but I want to really, really get it to take off here because I really want to get a really good bed of cilantro. I'm going to check my potato plant here pretty soon. I have one growing. It's been about 6 weeks now, and I'm growing it inside. So what I want to do is I want to do a test. I want to make sure it's going to ruin the plant, but that's okay because I'm trying to perfect and figure out the inside growing where I get a better yield. So, like they say, you got to, in order to make a sandwich, you got to crack a few eggs. I know that's not the saying. You probably can't pick this up right now on the camera, but you can see the flowers behind me in the pumpkin plants. If I'm really quiet for a second, I can hear the bees in there buzzing. They're working their magic in there. Yep. Hear the crows over in the background. Oh, and we have a roadrunner. A roadrunner is one of my favorite birds. I never really paid much attention to roadrunners, being from the north, and when we first moved down here, we lived in the city, so I never saw one. But now that I'm back up in the country again for the last few years, this area I'm in is known as a bird habitat. And so there are falcons and eagles and hawks, ravens, just your regular run-of-the-mill cardinals and robins and all that stuff, finches, scissortails. But we all of a sudden, the last 2 years, on our side road here, we must have a family of roadrunners hanging out. And the roadrunners are really cool to watch. They're long and lean, and they run around. It's funny to watch them run. They can really move out. There's a meme out there right now that says a coyote's top speed is 30 miles an hour. A roadrunner's top speed is 20 miles an hour. My whole childhood was a lie. Very peaceful morning out here. This is why I come out in the garden in the morning. I hear crickets, cicadas, birds, roadrunners. And interesting thing about the roadrunners is he's been enjoying the pumpkin flesh and the pumpkin seeds, because they're omnivores also. Their main diet is small snakes and lizards and bugs and things like that they catch. But in a pinch, they do substitute, greenery. They'll eat pumpkin seeds, they'll eat pumpkin flesh. So I know where the family resides out there by the road. They run around out there. So I've been taking my excess pumpkin seeds and some of the flesh from when I make my puree, and I take it out there by the road where they live, and I toss it over by the trees, and a lot of it's missing. So if it were deer eating it, the deer would polish it all off. They would eat the whole pile. But I'm thinking it's them because they're picking at it. So I think that's really cool that I get an opportunity. I'm hoping to keep them here because I'd really like to draw them in closer to our house, because that way we don't have a problem with snakes. There are snakes in the area here. Obviously in Oklahoma there are snakes. But I'd love to have a family of roadrunners running around here taking care of any of and they eat rodents, They take care of your rodent population and things like that. And I do have some partridge. We used to hunt partridge years ago when I was growing up. I don't hunt anymore. It's just, I'd rather watch the birds and the animals now than shoot them. If it ever came where you had to eat, to survive and feed your family, that's one thing. But, I'd rather watch them now. But we got partridge. I love watching partridge, the way they all dart in and out of the hay fields. You'll sit here and you'll see a whole 4 or 5, like a family, come running out, and then they'll follow each other and they'll run right back in and they're gone. It's really funny to watch. And we also have mourning doves. Mourning doves were my mom's favorite bird. We used to have a bunch of them up when I lived in upstate New York in the country. And I do have a few down here. And sometimes in the morning, I'll be working out here and I just got to stop for a minute because they'll start calling. And I love the call of the mourning dove. I love the call of the partridge. I think that's so cool. But this world, everybody's so busy ramming around all the time, getting in the car, going here, going there, going here, going there. Road rage, people bumping into each other, fighting in the streets. And man, people need to chill, go to the country, plant a garden, and sit here, being able to look at that garden in the morning with my gone squatching mug and a fresh cup of coffee. First cup of coffee always hits right. It is about 71 degrees right now. It's overcast. I can sit here and plan my day or not plan my day, whichever way I want to go. It's Saturday, so it's a roll of the dice on a Saturday. We'll see what we want to get to and do. Might work in the wood shop. I do want to work in the garden. I want to do some refresh and clean up and put a couple more fence posts in. Want to get those seeds planted for the melons. And I am going to be planting soon. They're drying up really, really well, are my pumpkin seeds from my first batch of pumpkins. I want to plant 2 of those seeds and see how they do. And then I would like to I got to check my potatoes. They're getting really close to being able to plant. So I'm going to plant those. But stay tuned next week, man. I'm going to do some cooking lives. It's coming on to fall. And once I'm pulling stuff out of the garden, I'll be doing green beans. I can do green bean dishes. I can do some side dishes. I'm going to do some breads. Once I get some apples, I'll show how I do an apple crisp or an apple crumble for fall. I think I'm going to do a quick little thing on pie dough. I might do a thing on biscuits. I want to get some of the packages of some sausage, maybe. and do a sausage and gravy how I do it. Like I said, remember, I'm from the north, so I don't have a southern grandma that taught me how to do biscuits and gravy. It's stuff I've had to watch and then make in my own kitchen to give it a try. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. So I got a lot of little things I'm going to be doing. Definitely going to be doing a lot of farm to table stuff as I can. And so that's going to be it. Monday, 7 p.m. is Little Texas 1200. So it's at Little Texas 1200. And myself at Okies Eden. I'm going to his channel. He has contacted me and wants me to go live with him. So he's supposed to be setting up that collaboration. I am working on a couple others. They're going to be a couple weeks out. There's a lot of, we're working out details, and I'm busy a few days. They're busy a few days. So we're just trying to get it to where it's good for both parties, where we can maximize. There goes a huge bumblebee. I love bumblebees. They're so fun to watch. But yep, got some more collaborations. If you want to do a collaboration with me, if you've already done a collaboration with me, that is fine. If you want to do another collaboration, just email me at okieseden@gmail.com. Put collaboration in the subject line, and let's do another collaboration. I'm down for it. If you want me to come on your channel, just email me. Ask me to come on your channel. We'll set it up, and I'll try to come on your channel. Oh, I wasn't even thinking. Free hat. I got my free hat yesterday. So there was a festival up in the city next door. It was a Cajun Fest. And it was a really good time. It was, they had the etouffee, they had jambalaya. You paid $10 and you got in. They had live music. The guys from Swamp People were there. But they had 50 vendors up there with all sorts of Cajun food. So we had, we had shrimp jambalaya. Oh my goodness, we had, somebody did fettuccine, crawfish fettuccine. That was delicious. And they had crawfish, tons of crawfish boil stuff. But you'd go around, they'd give you these little cups, sample cups, not sample cups, like side cups you'd have in a restaurant if you got takeout. But $10. And you just keep, then they have all, all the free stuff, because it was all businesses that were pushing their product, but they were actually cooking the food. They all had their people there cooking all these different foods. And it all went to a charity. Last year they made almost $500,000 for this one charity. So the $10 goes to a good cause. So it was well worth the $20 for us to go to that, because you can eat. It's all you can eat. You just keep walking. It was probably a half a mile walk around all the vendors, because they had stuff in between. They had cornhole, they had little games, they had some, dancing going on, and playing some music. But it was this huge setup in this field, and thankfully it had rained just before it. I mean, it wasn't good for the muddiness of it, but the cool part was it knocked the temperature from 100 down to 75. So it was comfortable. And so you kept walking around. You'd stop at every booth. You could get a hat. I got a shirt, koozies, tape measures, pens, pencils. It was a good time. But yeah, the food. We had so much Cajun food yesterday, but it was so good. I mean, we loaded up big time, but for $10, for $10, all of that goes to charity, the proceeds, because it was all volunteer work. And you couldn't eat the amount of food we ate in a restaurant for under $40 yesterday. I'm talking each. If you went to a Cajun restaurant and ate as much as we ate, you would have eaten $30 to $40 a piece. Oh, they had, you know, they had banana pudding. They had other Cajun stuff. They had, I forget, beignets. I mean, you just keep, it went on for 6, 7, 8 hours. You can eat the entire time. It's all you can eat. And then you vote on who did the best cooking. Today is their I'm not going today. Today's their barbecue fest. Same thing. It's $10 to get in, and you can sample all the barbecue you want. And again, it all goes to the same charities. And but yeah, that was just so cool. That really was so cool. But anyways, those are going to be the announcements. Please be looking for my farm to table uh, cooking lives coming up. I have a composting live coming up. I am planting. I'm doing another playlist for melons, and then next week just maybe some stuff. I'm building more boxes for my herbs for the inside for the fall, because I'm going to do a whole series on growing herbs inside. I've never really done it. I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to perfect it so I can have herbs year round inside. So we're going to be working on that, and that's going to give me stuff for the channel all winter long. I got wood shop stuff I can do. I have preparing the garden with more. I'm going to put 4 or 5 more trellises in, more fencing inside. I'm doing a big wood border all around the fence for weed trimming. So I got a bunch of stuff coming up. So sit tight. I hope you enjoy my content. Stick around. Subscribe to my channel if you get a chance. And we'll be hanging out here soon. So you guys all take care and have a good day.